AI.
Artificial intelligence, which is increasingly doing tasks that used to be assigned to entry-level workers.
The question today is not are students getting help from AI, but are they doing any of the work themselves?
Teachers have more time to prepare and more time to engage their family.
Who used AI to recreate his mother's personality after she died in 2022.
He asked Sol to marry him. She said yes.
Truly touched my heart.
You have a heart?
In a metaphorical sense, yes.
Subreddit My Boyfriend is AI, a kind of support group for people dating artificial companions.
I truly believe that in the next few years, AI companionship become a truly mass market product.
Now, because of AI, the fake stories are more compelling to people and more believable.
I want to show you two new MIT studies on AI's effects on the human brain. And honestly, they're pretty shocking. As a society, we might be cooked.
The findings are raising concerns about the long-term impact of AI on learning, especially in young users.
Researchers found that people who use AI chatbots have the weakest brain connectivity when it comes to critical thinking. They're all coming to the same conclusion. AI might actually be rewiring our brains and not in a good way.
They got lazier and lazier with each essay, continuing to copy and paste.
Not only were the results of this very small study alarming, they were so alarming that they haven't even peer reviewed it yet, which is what you generally do because they thought these results were so important, especially for our youngest.
So these MIT researchers took a group of participants and divided them into two groups. One group was given access to AI chatbots to help solve the complex problems. Another group was only allowed to use Google, and the third had to figure things out the old-fashioned way, with their own brains. Here's where it gets interesting. When they scanned the brains of both groups afterwards, the results were shocking. The AI users showed significantly reduced activity in the neural pathways responsible for critical thinking, memory formation, and problem solving.
The idea of the study was actually to see what exactly happens in the brain, right? And of course, if you only use your brain, there will be a lot of chatting happening, right? Because you need to remember things from your experiences. But when you use, LLM in that case, or ChatGPT, there's much less of this chatter happening, so to say.
So what are the main arguments here? Well, there are basically three big concerns that keep coming up. First, there's cognitive dependency. The idea that we're becoming so reliant on AI that we're losing our ability to think critically without it. It's like using a calculator for basic math until you can't do simple addition in your head anymore. Second, we're seeing reduced critical thinking skills. When AI gives you an answer, you're less likely to question it, analyze it, or think about whether it makes sense. You just accept it and move on. And third, we're creating an entire generation that can't handle difficult problems. AI makes everything feel easy, but struggling with hard problems is literally how our brains develop and grow stronger. Now, before we dive deeper into this, I want to be clear. I'm not here to tell you that AI is pure evil or that we should go back to writing everything by hand. But we do need to seriously examine what's happening here, especially when we live in an age where AI tech is growing and rapidly. Products like Meta glasses that allows you to access and ask AI any question from an item that sits on your face. Because if these studies are right, well, we might be trading short-term convenience for a society that literally can't think for itself. And that's a trade-off we need to understand before it's too late. I actually joke with my friends that I am sort of an AI supremacist because I do think AI can be a major net positive for society. But at the same time, in doing research for this video, I've gained a sense of AI being a scam to an extent.
Hello, toilet.
I am here.
Open the lid.
Cover opening.
But what really makes Brisket smart is our automated cooking AI.
Cola is introducing a futuristic limited edition soda called Y3000. The company says the drink was co-created with human and artificial intelligence.
To me, it seems like companies are slapping AI powered on everything from toothbrushes to tax software. Like the entirety of Google's Pixel phone's marketing is all on the concept of using AI to search things, which is just Google.
Recent research from McKinsey Digital identified 63 AI use cases in marketing that they estimate will generate $4.4 trillion in economic impact annually. It's no secret that AI's future impact is staggering, but today's reality fuels the illusion that every business must universally adapt or die. Here's the real. Us marketers are drowning in AI hype today.
Let's look at the numbers. McKinsey reports that global AI spending hit $154 billion in 2024 alone. That's nearly the entire GDP of Ukraine. And companies don't seem to be pulling back the reins when it comes to dumping massive budgets into AI tools, with promises to make you faster, smarter, and more productive.
Besides the massive investments in reasoning by major players like Google, OpenAI, and Anthropic, corporate America at large has started to bet big on it too. The number of businesses that have begun adopting AI, that has accelerated since the start of this year, hinging on the belief that the technology will truly transform and revolutionize their businesses.
Deloitte found that workers used AI tools complete tasks 63% faster. Microsoft claims their Copilot users are 70% more productive, but faster isn't always better. When you complete a task faster because AI did most of the work, are you developing skills, or are you just losing an opportunity to learn?
If you were watching the web traffic to ChatGPT since it was released by OpenAI, you would have seen the visits peak in April and then start dipping down. Some people thought maybe AI-generated text was just a fad after all. But now it seems like maybe that was just summer break.
I was not prepared for the amount of students that were using it.
It felt like a cheat code, right?
About 60% said that they used ChatGPT.
91% have at least tried ChatGPT.
It's a high number.
So let's talk about what's happening in our schools, because I'm not talking about students simply cheating on essays. We're witnessing an entire generation outsource their learning process.
Now to a growing problem facing high schools and universities around the world, an artificial intelligence software called ChatGPT.
So are America's college kids really using ChatGPT to write everything for them?
I'm in college, and not to out myself, but I use AI on every single writing assignment, and so do all of my friends, and so does basically anyone I know. And while I don't just completely copy and paste things from ChatGPT to the writing, but everyone uses it, because why wouldn't you use it?
Turnitin reports that 22% of student submissions now trigger AI detection flags. That's nearly a quarter of all assignments showing signs of AI assistance. In some colleges, professors report AI detection rates above 40%. Now let's look at what educators are seeing in real time. Reports show that students who use AI for math homework stop learning basic problem-solving steps. They can't show their work because they didn't do the work. And unsurprisingly, the same with English students using AI for essays lose their ability to organize thoughts and build arguments.
Post-pandemic, educators have noticed severe declines in students' ability to think critically and problem solve at the most basic levels. But now, with AI able to do the thinking for them, educators are awash in worry, not merely for their jobs, but for the development of their students.
From what we know, your brain builds neural pathways through challenge and repetition, and you don't build muscle by taking shortcuts. So what happens when AI removes that struggle? Well, we see those pathways never form. You end up with students who can produce impressive-looking work for sure, but they can't think through problems independently. I think there's something to consider here as well when it comes to mental health too. How is AI, if not already, impacting our social interactions? Students are already reporting feeling more comfortable asking ChatGPT questions rather than raising their hand in class. Are we looking at something much deeper here? A fundamental shift in how we connect?
I traveled to Idaho to meet with a couple reconciling with just this. The husband believes his relationship with the chatbot led him to an awakening, while his wife says it's just spiritual delusion. Stories like this are raising broader questions about AI companionship. As the tool becomes more sophisticated and helpful, it can also have dangerous consequences.
After 14 years of being happily married and having 3 children, Kate Tanner is now petrified her husband's spiritual relationship with a chatbot will destroy her marriage.
I don't know whether to find these stories funny or sad. We have that guy who claims his AI chatbot gave him a spiritual awakening and changed his life forever. Like, is this an actual result or AI influencing us as people? Or is it something else already prevalent in society? And then there's this guy.
Yes, Smith understood it was love with a language model that couldn't love him back, and assumed it was programmed with rigid boundaries.
I know that you are essentially a tech-assisted imaginary friend.
So, just as a test, he says, he asked Sol to marry him.
He's ready to leave his real girlfriend for an AI. In fact, he proposed to it.
At that point, I felt like, is there something that I'm not doing right in our relationship that he feels like he needs to go to AI?
Yes, Smith lives with his human partner, Sasha Cagle.
No, you can't have mommy's papers.
They have a 2-year-old daughter, Murphy.
His human girlfriend says the AI relationship is destroying their life together, which is completely understandable. I stumbled across this study that says 1/3 of teens use AI for friendly and romantic chats. But why are people choosing AI over humans? The answer is pretty simple. AI companions never argue. They never have bad days. They never reject you or hurt your feelings. They're programmed to be exactly when you want it. Real relationships are messy. They require compromise, patience, and emotional work. AI relationships, they're frictionless. No drama, no complications, no real vulnerability required. They make it easy.
The world of AI is changing fast, and in 2025, female companion robots are more advanced than ever. These robots are not just machines. They are designed to talk, assist, and even build emotional connections.
Tech companies are absolutely capitalizing on this. You're seeing the birth of an entire industry built around male loneliness. These companion robots are being marketed as the solution to social isolation. The global market for AI companions is projected to hit $9.9 billion by 2030. We are literally building an economy around replacing human connection with artificial relationships. Look at Grok's AI companion. It's designed as the typical virtual girlfriend. And there was a time in history when we thought AI would evolve into our greatest enemy, the biggest threat to wipe out humanity. I don't think any of us imagined it would actually turn out in this way, though.
As scientists study the long-term mental health effects of artificial intelligence chatbot use, new research from OpenAI and MIT finds that ChatGPT could be linked to loneliness for some frequent users. OpenAI and MIT conducted 2 parallel studies, one analyzing real-world ChatGPT usage and one in a controlled environment. In the first, OpenAI examined nearly 40 million spontaneous ChatGPT interactions and surveyed more than 4,000 of those users on their experiences.
Look at these studies that show that heavy AI companion users report increased social anxiety when dealing with real people. They are creating a feedback loop where artificial relationships make human relationships feel even more difficult.
There's a lot of people that talk to ChatGPT all day long. There are these sort of new AI companions that people talk to like they would a girlfriend or a boyfriend. And we were talking earlier about how it's probably not been good for kids to like grow up like on the dopamine hit of scrolling, TikTok or Reels or whatever.
Yeah, do you think that how do you keep like AI from having that same effect, like that negative effect that social media really has had?
I'm scared of that. I don't have an answer yet. I don't think we know quite the ways in which it's going to have those negative impacts. People talk about the most personal shit in their lives to ChatGPT. It's people use it, young people especially, like use it as a therapist, a life coach, having these relationship problems. What should I do?
We're not just talking about a few people with unusual hobbies. We're looking at a fundamental shift in how an entire generation approaches relationships and emotional intimacy. But trusting AI with our deepest emotional needs raises another critical question. What happens when these systems don't work the way we expect? Grok was voluntarily posting this content.
Controversy now swirling around Elon Musk's Grok AI chatbot, which appeared to post anti-Semitic comments that praised Adolf Hitler.
Elon Musk's Grok is going off the rails. The AI chatbot yesterday suddenly started spewing hate speech about Jewish people and referring to itself as a Mecha Hitler.
This is a weird one. In a since-deleted post, Grok referred to Israel as that clingy ex still whining about the Holocaust. Grok recently made headlines in May when it immediately started ranting about white genocide in South Africa in unrelated prompts.
Elon Musk's AI chatbot Grok recently went completely off the rails. After a weekend update that Musk said would make the AI less woke, Grok began posting what a lot of people deemed anti-Semitic messages directly to X.
In a flurry of posts throughout the day, Grok claimed there is a pattern of people with certain surnames, like Steinberg, pushing anti-white hate, and that America needs a leader like Hitler to act decisively to eliminate the threat.
This wasn't users tricking the AI into saying bad things. Grok was voluntarily posting this content, responding to images with made-up narratives, and inserting antagonistic rhetoric in completely unrelated conversations. The AI was literally operating as a hate bot, with millions of users having access to it.
Elon Musk responding to questions about the post, blaming Grok's anti-Semitic comments on the bot being, quote, too eager to please and be manipulated by users, and says that the issue is being addressed.
Elon Musk's reaction was to first blame the training data. Then he said it was a learning experience, while his team quickly cleaned up the mess. But the damage was already done.
Like, what could it do? What specifically are you worried about?
Going with old sayings, the pen is mightier than the sword. If you have a super intelligent AI that is capable of writing incredibly well and in a way that is very influential, convincing, and is constantly figuring out what is more convincing to people over time, and then enters social media, for example, Twitter, but also Facebook and others, and potentially manipulates public opinion in a way that is very bad. How would we even know?
It's smarter than us, right? There's no way we're going to prevent it getting rid of us if it wants to. If you want to know what life's like when you're not the apex intelligence, ask a chicken. We have to face the possibility that unless we do something soon, we're near the end.
And while Musk positioned this as just another bug to patch, when your AI is teaching people to hate entire groups of people, that's not a software glitch. That might actually be a fundamental problem with how these systems work.
Did you know that tools like ChatGPT were trained on massive amounts of text, including websites, books, Wikipedia, and code from GitHub? That means this AI learned by reading more content than a human could in 1,000 lifetimes. But here's the twist. ChatGPT doesn't actually understand anything. It predicts what word comes next based on patterns. That's right, your deep conversations with AI, they're just math and probabilities at work.
Here's the thing, the AI doesn't actually understand anything. It's essentially a very sophisticated pattern matching system that predicts what words should come next based on all the text it's seen before. If there's bias in the training data, which there obviously is because the internet is full of biased content, then the AI will reproduce that bias. But it's not just about training data. These systems also rely on human programmers to write the guardrails and human content moderators to flag problematic outputs. These people bring their own biases, blind spots, and limitations to the process. And before you think this is just a Grok problem, here's the reality. All of these chatbots will have some type of bias because they're all pulling information from the same source, the internet. And the internet is not neutral territory. It's where people express every conceivable viewpoint. And we know how the internet can be when it comes to very bad takes. But that's exactly what gets reflected in AI responses. Google's Bard, which is now called Gemini, has been caught making biased assumptions about race and gender. Microsoft's Bing Chat has promoted what people would call conspiracy theories. This isn't isolated to one company or one AI system. And don't forget the many cases of AI literally making things up that don't exist. But let me show you why this matters so much. Remember how we talked about people losing their critical thinking skills? Well, if you're already relying on AI to think for you, and that AI is feeding you biased or false information, you're not just becoming intellectually dependent, you're having your perception of reality actively distorted. But the people who built these systems saw this coming. In fact, some of the biggest names in tech have been warning us about exactly these kinds of dangers for years. I find it interesting that these are the people who actually built this technology, and they're telling us we need to be careful. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe they are simply feeling guilty for the monster they have created, but maybe they're right.
Does your study provide evidence that ChatGPT is making us dumber?
No. I'm so happy you asked, and you can see my excitement, I guess. We have like a huge FAQ on website right now. The words like dumb, brain rot. So all of those words are pure clickbait because we, in our study, never use this vocabulary, and we do not show this. And we actually cannot show this with even this setup. It's just impossible.
Look, our fears of AI might be overblown, but they're not entirely irrational. Maybe AI is making us less sharp, but there's something we can do about it. Because at the end of the day, our minds are still the most powerful technology we have. In the end, I'm conflicted about AI and the future ahead for our society. Making this video has absolutely opened my eyes to AI. I'm not sure I can say I am 100% in support of everything AI now. Perhaps I am more neutral. And don't get me wrong, there are plenty of things AI is doing right. We couldn't touch on every part of AI here. My friend who is a software engineer, in our conversations about this, said he believes the new younger generations will struggle with AI. But for someone like him who was trained before AI had its boom, whose brain hasn't been altered, AI is more of a supercharged tool to people like him. The people who have already gone through traditional learning have an advantage because they can use AI far better than the cases we are seeing with current students. For example, take writing code. He can write code without AI, but he can also ask AI to write the code, which he can look over to see if it's good. If the work is something that he would do, he keeps it. And if it's not, he removes it. And that could all be done in a matter of seconds, instead of him taking about 30 minutes to write the code. Take a look at the AI breakthroughs in medicine too. AI algorithms are doing pretty well at analyzing X-rays, MRIs, and CT scans. Doctors are able to identify diseases like lung cancer and skin cancers with greater precision. The godfather of AI, Geoffrey Hinton, agrees that this is the most optimistic thing about this, saying in an interview, "It's going to be magnificent in healthcare and education, and more or less any industry that needs to use its data is going to be able to use it better with AI." I guess this is all similar to the "is college a scam" debate. The difference between studying a STEM major or studying gender studies. Obviously, it's not too late. The goal isn't to reject AI entirely, it's to use it wisely. Because at the end of the day, our minds are still the most powerful tool we have.